How did you how are you able to find that balance between being assertive and like fighting for your ideas and then being like, wait a minute, what if I'm actually wrong here? What if whatever this person is saying, what if that's actually better? How do you know when to trust yourself like that?
Oh, that's really tough.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I actually had to unlearn from that summer camp. I got so scared about how like the process works and everything that anything I didn't do that followed that process, I just shut it down. And that's one of the things that I had to unlearn like now. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, that's really tough. Um, and I think I've thought about that before. I think what's tough is just that um most situations, like if I think about I'm gonna take Cartoon Network as an example because I wasn't necessarily like it wasn't like somebody said we're open to you making a short that it wasn't made the same way that we made all of our other shorts. It was more just like I have this idea, but I think it's really important that we um, do specific things in making it that are not how you normally do it. And like one of them was, uh, using my brother's voice and my family's voice and using like recordings that maybe weren't done in a booth or just a lot of it. Like some of it was just like with the animatic, I honestly just like normally you're supposed to show people like a storyboard, as like your first pitch, but I think I came in with like an animatic because I just edited it and I went and I actually did like ask my family questions and I got a lot of the records that way. And and so it was already in there when they saw it because like in like ahead of the pitch I had already thought um I don't show this to them this way. Like if I pitch it the normal way, um they're not gonna understand it the way that it's like they're not gonna get the impact of like why it needs to not be like actors.
Did
um
anyone ever like say, I don't know, like you don't have to answer this, like why are you hiring your family? And we have like so and so or somebody or like were they like how do we know you're going to direct them properly if they're your family members or something like that?
Something similar. It was like more like it wasn't ever like specifically because they were my family, but it was a little bit like, well, they're not in SAG. They're supposed to be in SAG. We can only do that if there's like an exceptional reason. We think that like you're trying to basically prove that this, I mean, essentially what those shorts were at the time, and I don't know if they even have that program anymore, but it was something like a training ground for could this work as a series? And then so I think there was this assumption that it's like because they're not actors or actresses, they won't be able to handle doing, the amount of voice work that like if this turned into a series with like 50 episodes, they wouldn't be able to do that. Um, like which always leads which 100% of the time led me to the question of like, do I want to make 50 episodes of this show though? Like I don't know. Like I like that's like a whole other thing because so many things are sold on that premise that like it it's it seems more valuable to people if somebody's optioned something for a ton of stuff when like in reality like I don't even know if I want to ever do that. Like I'm not sure if I ever want to make like a I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but like Ben 10 or like, Powerpuff Girls, those are good shows. It's just different than the type of thing that I make. So it was kind of having to push on that too and say, like, don't you guys ever see like the opportunities in doing things that aren't, just like a long running product? Um,
Do you think if they said no for whatever reason, you would have like gone and done it on your own in some way?
Sometimes, yeah, I thought of that. With like Welcome to My Life as a show in general, like I thought of so many different ways that that could um, continue, even like today, you know. And I still would somewhat want to do that. It's just like the difficulty of like the making a show of that level. I think like the Cartoon Network one would be pretty expensive. So they're probably right in that regard. But I don't think it's like, you know, like I think after after I had made it, I watched like Ready Player One, and I got really mad because I was like, just you just start calculating how much it must have cost to make to make like 10 seconds of that movie, and I was like, oh, but like where's that money for like projects like mine? I'm sorry, I think I derailed your question, by the way.
No,
Like I
no, no, it's totally fine. I love hearing about stuff like this. That's why I was actually really excited, especially with all the stuff Netflix is doing. I've been writing a lot on it. Just I'm very excited for like the just the volume over quality. Not quality, obviously, but you know what I mean, like
yeah.
hiring all these like really cool people to just like, here, money, go, do whatever you want. I just
Yeah.
think that's awesome. Is there I don't know how much time you have like apart from the show or whatever. Is there a project or something that you're putting off right now because of fear?
I mean, to be honest, there's nothing like that I've been putting off because of fear. I feel like, and maybe they're not gonna want to hire me after I say this, but I feel like it's all the studios that it's are the ones that have a fear of anything right now, you know? I have a lot of ideas for um, relatively ambitious projects, but like to me, they're not like they're valuable. Like it's just thinking like there's a depth to them and there's like a level to them of stuff that I want to do that that is similar to City of Ghosts, and especially in the sense that like nobody's really making that kind of show because it didn't exist before. Um, but the nervousness for me is just like how much it has to fit into other people's idea of what people actually want to see or what they want to pay for or what will make them money as a studio. So you know, you get a lot of people that glom on to like um, I mean, from my perspective, it seems like there's a lot of people that are really interested in adapting graphic novels of things lately, which
Mhm.
is interesting. But to me, it's like that's a whole other um, type of project, you know? So it's just hopeful that like having a project like this one will somehow open the gate a little bit for I don't know, like more innovative things like this so that like studios will be less fearful to like take a chance on that kind of stuff.
What's something that you failed at and what happened afterwards?
What have I failed at? There was one like I was gonna say a piano competition, but I don't even really think that's like a failure because it's a competition. So like by its nature, somebody has to fail, you know, like somebody lost. Um, oh, you know what? I tried to make Welcome to My Life a TV show right when I got out of Cal Arts almost. Like
Oh wow.
I had done a training program at DreamWorks. Oh, I failed at that too. It's like,
You're like it's all coming back.
no, yeah, because honestly, like I failed at that for I have no idea why. Like it was really just like
Like you didn't get the internship or you got it and then like I don't know, you
well
spontaneously
like
combusted?
kind of like I was in their training program, and then they you know, like part of it was like the training program is this long, and then at this point you'll find out if we're going to give you a full contract. and you'll get put onto a show and you'll work on and then you'll continue working at DreamWorks. And it was really just up to like me and this one other guy at the end where they said they didn't think we were working out, but like and they said something to the effect of like it had to do with like my drawing not being up to par, which was like
Oh,
a like that was like a punch in the gut, I think, when I was like if you just think about, you know, where you're at when you first get out of school and then you think you've learned all this stuff and at the end of it they're like you don't know how to draw. It was like, okay. um, in retrospect, like it was because I was getting other opportunities, and I think whoever was the recruiter at the time did, or not recruiter, but whoever was in charge of the training program kind of wanted it to make it seem like it was about my failure rather than about what it was really about. Which I think it was just a power play situation. Like, oh, you're not like loyal to DreamWorks. Well, you can't draw, kind of thing, you know.
oh, geez, that
Um,
sucks.
yeah, but like when you're young, you don't. I wish like I had the foresight to know like that sometimes it's not really about what somebody's telling you it's about. It's about more of like a power trip. Um, but also after that, like I went to Disney TV to try to do like a primetime animated version of Welcome to My Life. And it didn't work for obvious reasons. Like Disney was just not really an open place for like, you know, if I wanted to do something unscripted with my family for animation, like in 2005, um, just like, you know, like try to imagine like a Disney animated TV show like that on prime time, and it's not imaginable because it's just not what they do. So it didn't work out, and I know like when they came to tell me they were shelving it basically, I was like crushed. I just felt like, you know, like, oh, I did everything wrong, you know. I should have done this. If I had done all of these things, if I hadn't, you know, pushed back on this one thing, I would have uh had a show. And yeah, I think like now when I look at it, I'm really happy that it didn't work out because there's a lot of things I wouldn't have been able to do. It just would have been kind of like a not great version of what it could have been. And yeah, but like I felt for a long time like, oh, like I failed at the training program, I failed at making my own show. Like I don't know what to do. Like I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I think it just took some time and like experience.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. We have three questions left. I
Okay.
love that you share the behind the scenes of like making your show. I remember looking at the animatic and like the storyboards and how you were talking about like how rough they are and how they never get more cleaned up than this. I really like that by showing like the behind the scenes process, you're helping people. What motivates you to, I don't know, just show, because you don't have to show the behind the scenes, but you do. So I'm interested. Is that like a choice that you made, or what motivates you to do that?
Yeah, I've started doing sharing like my roughs and all of that because I want other people who are like me to know that you don't have to be like an incredible drafts person in order to do this. You just sort of have to have a drive, an idea of what your timing is, like an idea of exactly what you need to communicate in order to get your message across. I feel like I'm bombarded on a regular basis with people who are like not all the time lately because I'm usually distracted by other things. But before I felt like you get a lot of people that share this like these crazy paintings that they do or these like really sick decks that they make for show ideas. And I sometimes I see that and I think like I hope people are know that like it doesn't have to look like that. Like it's not all about like the glamour of it. It's not all about like the show of it. Like sometimes it's really about, to me, like the opposite. Like it's about like being able to see like the core of where something is at.
That is lovely. I really, really love that you're doing that. What's the most fearless thing you've ever done? This doesn't have to be art related.
Fearless.
Yeah, what's the most fearless thing you've ever done?
I don't know, like, I think about this time where, like, we were this isn't even the most fearless, though. Um, it's just the first thing that came to mind, but, like, there was this time when we were waiting in this crazy traffic, and I saw, like, to get over to this parking lot, we could just go through this one place where, like, it would technically be going the wrong way, but I remember my husband thinking it was, like, the most, like, badass Rambo thing that I could have done, but I just kind of like drove over to it and went that way so that we could get out of this line. But that's
There was
sort
a
of like,
huge ramp and you flew off over the
yeah,
freeway.
yeah. It was near like the Long Beach Aquarium, I think, and I was just like, Okay, I'm gonna go for it." Like I don't see anybody around, so.
That is very interesting. What is something that you thought was scary, but you were able to overcome or get through?
Um, I've always found performing and speaking in front of people to be scary. And somehow I ended up doing it for a job. So, like,
10 out of
uh,
10 planning.
yeah, so I don't know. I think, it's more just, like, realizing that, like, there's something that fulfills me about it, and, like, while I might be, like, introverted and shy, that it doesn't mean that you're only that. Sometimes people can be introverted and they have another side of themselves that is not introverted, that's sort of, like, more extroverted and likes performing and likes attention. Um, and I think it was just recognizing that and, like, realizing that's also okay that you like that, and, you might embarrass yourself, but, like, that's the risk you take, and that, like, the rewards of it are greater than, just sitting there afraid to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I love that so much.
Bye.